Okay, we are working with solving one-step equations. Remember to pause this video anytime you need to stop and write. Rewind the video if there's things you need to miss, and always pay attention to the quiz questions and anything that is starred as being important. So first thing we see here is that the goal is to isolate one of the variable, not -1. And I'm going to show you an example. You might get an equation that looks like this. If you do, you would solve, because this is a positive 5, by subtracting 5 from both sides. When you do that, the negative sign and the x both drop down. So you are not done, because it's negative x, not positive x. So I'd make that positive x equal to -3. That's the same as dividing by -1. So make sure you pay attention to this. Don't forget that negative sign. The next thing is to use addition of the opposite and add a 1 where it's helpful. Watch for the negative variable like we just said. You may add, subtract, or multiply both sides of the equation by the same number. And remember, if a variable, you need to know this, is multiplied by a fraction, you will multiply by the reciprocal. That's how you divide a fraction. You multiply by the reciprocal. And you can always test your answer. So let's look at number 1. So I'm going to rewrite it so that way it's a little bit bigger. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a dotted line down where my equal sign is. Because when you're solving these, you need to do the same thing on both sides of the equal sign. So I'm going to find the side that has my variable. It'll only be, so I have a -4, so I need to get rid of that. So to do that, I'm going to add 4. When that happens, I'm left with x is equal to -3. Notice how I added 4 on both sides of the equal sign. I have positive 1x, so I'm done. Number 2 looks like this. First thing I want to do is I want to take care of these two negative signs or minus signs back to back. Do that immediately before you start. It's addition of the opposite. Remember, that's 2 marks with your pen. 1, 2, instead of minus a negative, plus a positive. Okay, now I'm going to solve. There's my equal sign. Because it's plus 5.6, I'm going to subtract 5.6 on both sides. And so I get that. But remember, make sure you pay attention. Alert. Addition of the opposite when you have 2 of those. 2 marks with the pencil. Okay, let's look at number 3. And I'm going to show you guys that this is an important one because it's commonly missed. So 8/9 is equal to 4/5 k. Alright, so I have 8/9 is equal to 4/5 multiplied by k. So in order to solve that, I'm going to divide by 4/5. Dividing by 4/5 means multiplying by the reciprocal on both sides. So when you do that, this is commonly missed. Pay attention to this. To divide by a fraction, you multiply by a reciprocal. I'm left with k on that side. Here, 5 times 8, so that's 40. 4 times 9 is 36. See if I can reduce that. 4 goes into both. 4 goes into there times and into here 9 times. So I have 10 over 9 or 1 1/9. last one. Of course, there's another one you need to really pay attention to. So first thing I want to look at is, what do I do with this negative sign? Does that mean the x is negative? Does that mean the 4 is negative, or the whole thing is negative? It really means the whole thing is negative. But what I would do to make this easier to solve is I'm going to move it to where it's not with the variable. So I'm moving it to here. So make sure you pay attention to that. I'm moving it to there. And that's fine. You still have one negative sign. I could have moved it to the numerator. I could have put it to the denominator. But I'm going to move it away from the variable. Now, in order to solve, I have x divided by negative 4, which means I multiply both sides by a negative 4. And remember, that's negative 4 over 1. So that cancels out. 1 times 4 is negative 4. 7 times 1 is 7. So make sure, pay attention to those special points. Go on Edmodo, take the quiz, rewatch anything you need to.